أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Thank you so much for having me today. It was quite a long time. We have been in some holidays due to what happens to me, which I know all of us are aware of the case. And I also thank you very much for your own kind of dua. I have received many dua, many calls from participants and Prof himself. I remain grateful. Thank you so much. Our today's class, we are going to focus on the issue related to musharaka. You know, we have discussed mudaraba and what is being related or associated with it. And this class should focus on musharaka financing. When we talk about musharaka implies partnership and partnership, which is the kind of two group of people who are coming together to share a common idea in terms of investment, in terms of promoting each partner by contributing a capital to each group and also share the profit as stipulated. Okay, musharaka financing implies partnership and driven from the Arabic word shirka. The musharaka initially or linguistically is referred to a word Arabic called shirka. From that word, the musharaka is derived. It is a consensual partnership, shirk al-aqd, between an Islamic bank and entrepreneur or firm, whereby each party contributes to the partner capital in equal or varying degrees, e.g., financial management skills experts to establish and manage a new project to share an existing one. What are they referring it here is musharaka is being considered as a kind of partnership where two groups of people are coming together and develop or establish a firm or contribute from their partnership capital. That means each and every one of the partner contribute a little or contribute a percentage from him. And that percentage should be capital, expertise, and skills in order to establish a project. So, and that project will be shared in an existence one. It means it has to be shared based on what they have contributed. But profit and loss are shared in a proportion to the contributed capital. So in that case, that expert, that skills will be managed by both of the parties or one of the parties. But initially, it has to be something that is being contributed from the parties. Later on, they will look at before initially, they have also to decide on the profit and losses. Initially, losses, it has nothing like decision making on it, but profit has to be stated, has to be named, has to be also stipulated in order not to bring a conflict at the end of the day. But the losses are going to share in proportion to the capital contributed. Counterparties to a musharaka contract are agents of one another. So in this scenario, it's not like a mudaraba whereby a owning party, that is the one party contributed the capital, while the other, he serves as an agent or expertise that manage the system. But in this scenario, both of the counterparties have contributed some percentage. So both of the counterparties, they are now agents of each other. A partner can withdraw his share from the partner either at his will or as agreed. So at the end of the day, a partner can decide to withdraw himself from the business at the end or at any time that he feels convenient to him. The only thing that is being needed here is the other party need to be give notice in order to understand the scenario, or to give a scenario. If the money is not in liquid, they can liquidate it and have their shares. The most preferable mode of financing, that is the musharaka, and they also promote profit and loss risk sharing. So the ratio of the percentage of the sharing, not fixed amount, is to be predetermined and agreed by the partner. So in musharaka financing, we have the most, that is the most preferable mode of financing that people needs, that people want, that people understand it, which is more clearly, and it's not that difficult. People can understand it when things are moving. And promote also this musharaka financing also promote profit and loss risk sharing. You have no problem when you know that you earn profit, you know the percentage to be divided between party A and party B, musharaka partners. And when you encounter loss has to be shared based on the capital contributed. The ratio or percentage of profit sharing is not fixed. Yes, it's not fixed. You can't fix the profit. You can fix the profit, because at the moment that you fix the profit sharing, it becomes an interest. It's not longer a profit, because a person doesn't know exactly what to be earned in a future. So the term is the only thing can decide on what and how many profit can be generated. So in that, fixing amount is not a Sharia compliance product. When a partner's fix the profit, it means it's become interest, not a Sharia compliance profit. It's Sharia non-compliance system, not musharaka, because musharaka is Sharia compliant. It's to be predetermined and agreed by partners. Theoretically, losses will also borne by the financing partners according to the invested capital, and by the managing partners according to the effort and time invested in managing the underlying project, and also the invested capital, if any. So in this scenario, you understand that if musharaka, you are to share the borne losses between the two parties. But compared to mudaraba is also borne by the capital owner, while there is no negligence between there is no negligence from the side of the manager. But if there is any negligence from the side of manager can be held responsible of what he done. But if there is nothing, is a natural thing that happens, or there is nothing like negligence from him, in that scenario, there is nothing on him. So in musharaka case, it has to be shared both between the parties. The PLS, that is profit loss sharing mode, is consistent with the concept of fairness in Islam. So when you look at it, you understand that yes, Islam promotes this because it's obviously known, and it's obviously a thing that you can perceive it by understanding the fairness between the distribution of the profits. Two modes of musharaka are existing. We have constant musharaka and diminishing musharaka. In mudaraba, we do understand there is two types of mudaraba, which we have restricted and unrestricted mudaraba. But in this, we have constant musharaka. When we say constant musharaka, we are referring to classic musharaka and diminishing musharaka. Classic musharaka is the musharaka we have been talking about from the beginning of the class. But diminishing musharaka, we are going to look at how diminishing musharaka works. The constant musharaka, which I do call it classical musharaka, in which the partner shares a capital, remains constant throughout the term as specified in the contract. It means it's a two group of people comes together, shared an idea, contribute the capital between themselves, and also manage the services by themselves. At the end of the day, when profit match, they share the profit according to the pre-agreed ratio. When losses happen, they share the loss based on capital contributed. That is how classical musharaka works, and we call it in another term constant musharaka. While diminution musharaka, in which an Islamic bank agreed to transfer gradually to the other partner, is shares in the musharaka, with the effect that the bank's shares decline and the other partner's shares increases until later become sole owner of the venture. In this scenario, for instance, let us take an issue of maybe let's take the issue with a mortgage, for instance. When we talk about the mortgage, that is the house financing. In this scenario, mostly Islamic banks do give out the house financing based on musharaka, diminution musharaka. And how that diminution musharaka works? The diminution musharaka works by giving the client's house, and also ask the person that is looking for the house, that is the mortgage, to give some percentage. For instance, 20%. When the person gives 20%, and the bank itself give 80%. So in this scenario, the bank and the house, the clients shares in partnership, but the share of each of them is different because the bank has 80% now, and the house client or the person that is in need of the house has only 20% share in the house. So from that scenario, the bank will start receiving months after the month. Maybe they are to stipulate the time, maybe for how long the contract will last. Let us take an example, a year. So in a year, how many months is 12 months? Okay, and the house is how much is 12,000. So how much in every month should be given to bank? Maybe 1,000. So for the period of 12 months is 12,000. But mind you, there is 20% being given by the client. So the client will hold 20% of the house ownership, and the bank is 80%. When a month comes and the partner or the client give 10, because it's a 12 month, he give 10 again percent. So the partner's shares increases with 10%, while the bank shares decreases with 10%, up to the end of the day, where the sole ownership will be transferred solely to the person, that is to the owner, to the client that is in need of the house, and the bank will earn nothing. So this is how diminution musharaka works. It can be in the form of mufawada, meaning an unlimited, unrestricted, and equal partnership in which partner enjoys complete equitable regarding the areas of the capital and management right of disposition. So what they are trying to say is not necessary to be the other parties so much and the other is less, can be shared. The partners can be having the same amount to be given to this team. Maybe the client and the bank can have the same amount, but at the end of the day, the other party owns it, and the other parties maybe full responsible of the house. A more limited investment partnership is called INA, a shirk. This occurs when the two or more parties contributed capital fund, either with the money contributed in kind of labor. So this one, they are also referring to the issue under issue related to musharaka. Musharaka can be also looked at a more limited investment partnership. That is, has to be looking based on limited investment partnership, maybe shirkatu al-ina. This occur between two parties or more. It means it's not only two partners can be construct, that is can be head responsible of this business can be more than two persons, like limited companies. Limited companies, they are taking more than two parties at times as the directors, board of the as the CEO and other directors. So can be owner of this investment, which is allowed. So it's not two-party. In other words, we can call it parallel musharaka, which is it's not parallel musharaka. I'm referring to the involvement of two or more parties to contribute for the fund. We also consider that one as a musharaka limited, that is a limited investment partnership. For both versions of musharaka, the partner shares profit in agreed manner and bear loss proportion in their capital contributed. So with this mufawada, that is unlimited or unrestricted equal partnership and the limited investment partnership, they are to share the musharaka profit and losses based on the ratio we talked about previously. So what is the definition of IOF in terms of musharaka? Musharaka is a form of partnership between the Islamic bank and its clients, whereby each party contributes to the capital of a partnership in equal or varying degree to establish a new project or shares the existing ones. Each of the parties become an owner of the capital on a permanent or decline basis, and is due his share or of profit, but losses are shared in proportion to the contributed capital. It is not allowed and stipulated otherwise. So it's the same thing, is a kind of definition we talks about in our previous, that's when we started the class. Look at the musharaka, how musharaka works. We have capital contributors, we have capital contributors, and we have bank contributor. So in this scenario, capital contributor can be more than one party or one person or two person or more, and bank also is another area that is as a contributor. So two group of people coming together to invest in a pool. So, and each of them put their money into it just to take the money into market. So after market have invested the money and earn something, that is after earning some amounts of money, is bring the money back to the pool. And also the partners benefit from each. Each partner benefited from the pool after receiving their money. So let us look at how diminution musharaka works. In Arabic Marxists, they call it al-musharaka al-mutanakisa. That is al-musharaka al-mutanakisa. When other part of the business fall, the order increases. This refers to a diminution partnership that invests in a fixed asset under, for instance, house, automobile, plant and machineries, factory and building. You can invest all these under diminution musharaka with such things. House, you can do it in a house basis. You can do it in automobile, that is car. You bought the car, you ask the financial institution to buy a car for you, but you contributed 20% or 30%, and later on you will be paying the money instrumental up to the end of the payment. You can, and that one can be on the machineries or factory or even building. The partnership will diminish over time as one of the partner buy more and more ownership units of the other partner. So that's exactly what I said, that the other party will be buying more and more partner units, and the other one is decreases. So that is how the musharaka mutanakisa works, and can be, like I've said, housing financing through partnership by ownership. So, but let us have an example. This is how diminution musharaka works. Let us see the example. Number one, we have, for instance, housing financing through partnership by ownership. So the cost of property is 1,000 naira. That's 1 million. Bank financial capital is 80% of the cost. Client financial capital is 20% of the cost. Maturity period is 10 years. 10 years, but they divide it into 120 months, for instance. And rental equivalent is based on equivalent rate of return, which is 7% of the outstanding investment. When we say rental, it means after buying this part, after buying percentage, it means you are as a somebody, a client, or you find somebody to enter to the house to pay rent up to the period of the contract, or you as a client can get into the house by yourself and you pay the rent of the house. That is 7% of outstanding investment. So let's look at how that works. Diminution musharaka. We can see that, but before we come to this, let us start it. Let us just give the details of this investment here, so that we can see it and can make a solution to this. How that works? Let's see. The cost of property is 1,000 naira. Bank financial capital is 80%. So 80% of 1 million is 800,000. So it means the bank pays 800,000. And let's look at the client. This thing is 200,000 since it's a 20,000. Since it's 20,000, and the maturity period is 10 years, which is 12 months, 120 months. So 120 months here, you are to divide it to 80%, because the 80% is not belongs to you, it belongs to financial institution. So they're expecting you within this month, they're expecting you to pay the money, to pay what 800,000 within 120 months. So you divide 120 or 800,000, you divide it to 120 months. So when dividing that, it will give you initial amount to be paid monthly. So in that case, it should be 100, that is 800,000. 800,000 divided by 120 is 96,000. Sorry. It's 6,666. So the bank is expecting from you to pay its money every month, 6,666 naira, 6,666 naira 0.6. So, but mind you, this is the money times 112 months, it will give you 180 in 10 years. But mind you, we have something called 7% outstanding. This 7% outstanding for the rental fee. So the rental fee, we have 7%. It means 7% of 10,000 or 1 million. 1 million. So 7% of 1 million is 70,000. That is times 0.07. So that should be 70,000. So this is the monthly fee. That is the monthly fee you are expected to pay, 70,000 every month. So 70,000. That is the 7% of the 7% of the rent for the entire 10 years. So you get the answer 7%, 70,000. So this 70,000 has to be divided also. 70,000 divided by 120. 70,000 divided by 120. That is, you will be paying 583.3. So monthly, you are expected at the end of month, every month, to pay 6,000, to pay 6,666.6 plus 583.3. But mind you, in 583.3, you have 20% of 583 belongs to you because you own the property 20%. You own 20% of the property. So here, if you earn 20, you earn 20% of the property, you have to say 0.02 for the property belongs to you. 20% of the property belongs to you. It means you have 116. 116 belongs to you. So 116 or 583 minus 116, it means 466. So here the bank will earn 6,666.6 plus 466.3. So in this scenario, you have 600. You have 7,100 and 7,132.6. That is 33.6. So this is how the calculation is being carried out. So now at the end of month, every month you paid 6,666.6. Instead, you have the rental fee also of 466. So plus 466 to 6,600, it means is 7,132. You will be paying 7,132 up to the 120 months. By doing that, it means you have settled how the diminution musharaka was. I think it will be more distinct to us if we take our time. We are going to have a solid calculation at the end of the class too. You can see it there. So now that is how this thing works. Diminution musharaka procedure and documentation. Creation of musharaka contract, a bank client and the Islamic bank set to jointly invest and own underlying property. It means two parties has to own the property. One has a higher percentage and the other is a less percentage, or even equivalent, but the later on with the agreement that at the end of the day, the other party will pay the money back. So the creation of rent contract, both parties agree that the bank will lease it under undivided share to the client partner to be governed by ijara. So like I've said, you give out the property to someone, or one of you will rent the property and to be shared the percentage of the rented amount together based on the share contributed. Client undertaking the purchase unit of the bank shares in the joint property. Client partner promised to buy the underlying according to the agreed schedules. That's how they are to buy the property at the end of the day. So this is the calculation. Look at how the calculation works. That is the Islamic bank. The cost of property is 1 million. Contract maturity 10 years, which is 120 months, like I've said previously. The rental equivalent is 0.0.7, which is 7%. Invested financial capital is 800, and percentage shared at the beginning is 80, which is the client have a 20, 200, and the bank has 80. Look at the number of the bank unit of ownership is 120. Maturity of the measurements in month. So 10 years in month is 120. 20 months. Sorry. Price per unit bank ownership, invested capital, contract maturity in the month. Face value per unit of ownership is 6,666.6, like I've told you. 6,666.6. That is the amount of the person to be paid monthly. And the money to be paid first by the per unit of the rent is 466.67. That is the rental fee to be paid by from the client to Islamic Bank if the client decided to be in the house. Look at it. This is how the balance sheet or how the client partner picture works. Look at it. Called price monthly. That is month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 10 and up to 120 months. Have you seen it? And you can see at the initial 6,000 price for each unit brought. That is 6,666.67. Rental per unit is 4,000. Rental per unit is 4,000. That is in accumulation. I'm talking about the accumulation. It's 466. Sorry, it's a mistake made here. And also we have, you can see, we have 4,666.67. We are talking about how much the client will be paid. It's not the general amount, because here the profit has to be shared between the partner, that is the Islamic Bank, and the partner. But here, since the client decided to be in the house, the partner pays only the share belongs to Islamic Bank, which is 4,666.67. So investment increase in 120 months, 800,000 initially, and later on we can see how that works. How unit on diminution, that is 120 become 119, become 118, become 17. So the month is drawing down. And also, if you look at the amount for the investment is also dropping down. The amount is from 11, now we are at 10. So look at it now, up to 120. So up to 120, you can see where the price, that is the unit, is unit owned by the diminution is 0, and the last amount paid is 6,666.67. And from there, the client in total investment is 1,000,082, 333.33. Initially, the Islamic Bank invested 800, but you can see how much at the end of the day earned is 1,882,333. So problem associated with musharaka is confidence of deposit, dishonesty, which is, we know, something called information asymmetry risks. If times allow, we are going to discuss on risks in our next series. And secrecy of the business is also important. Look at how musharaka equity partner participation flows chart. That is entrepreneur contributed, profit capital repayment, investor, which we call mushrik, he also contributed, and how they contributed in a pool of musharaka and how they earn their own profit. Musharaka deposit manager. An Islamic bank can manage an investment pool consists of deposit account with the different categories account to maturity. And we have each category will be assigned a specific profit weightage. This weightage can only be amended at the beginning of the accounting period. So as I showed it previously, each deposit will deposit financial capital in a specific category. All depositors belongs to an investment pool have a musharaka relationship with each other. That is the Rabbul Mal. They are partners in investment. Okay. So let us look at the final part of it, which is the difference between musharaka and mudaraba. Number one, all partners are considered as a Rabbul Mal because they will contribute financial capital at the varying proportion. So Mudarib partner will not contribute financial capital. Mudarib partner, he has nothing to contribute, but in Musharaka, both of the parties need to contribute. Two, all partners have the right to participate in managing the underlying asset business. If one person decided to do, it means he has to be paid for his managing. But in initial, both of them are required to manage the business. Under Mudaraba, without mutual consent, Rabbul Mal partner have no right to involve in management, although monitoring is allowed. So in under Mudaraba, Rabbul Mal, he has no hand in it. He just allowed the Mudarib to work accordingly. He can only supervise what is happening and how that happens. Financial loss will be shared by all partners according to the ratio of the capital investment. That is under Musharaka. When loss occurs, board has to take bond of what has been lost, what has been lost. But under Mudaraba, financial loss will be shared only by Rabbul Mal partner. Mudarib can be made reliable only in the case of misconduct or negligence. If happens that it's been realized and happens that the Mudarib with his negligence this happened, it means he has to be also reliable for it. Number four, the liability of all partners are limited to the amount invested except for partners who had borrowed for or on behalf of the business. So in this case, the liability has to be borne on the both partners, unless if they have a special arrangement in terms of borrowing or on behalf of the business. So under Mudarib, the liability of Rabbul Mal partner are limited to the amount invested unless they have permitted Mudarib to borrow on behalf of the business. So if there is any another money borrowed, which would the concept of the Mudarib or Rabbul Mal, that one has to be associated with it. But if there is not, if the Rabbul Mal or expert or agent decided to do it, that one is on him, not on the Rabbul Mal. Number five, all underlying assets are jointly owned by all partners according to their shares of capital. There will be benefit proportion when asset value appreciated. Under Mudaraba, all underlying assets are jointly owned by only Rabbul Mal according to their shares of capital. Mudarib can only earn his shares of profit from selling the assets. So, and this is investment account management based on Mudaraba and Musharaka module, which example following the information like Faisal Islamic Bank investment pool on Mudaraba Musharaka account, and that is the tenure, fund, and weightage. So this is, I wanted us to take this as an example based on what I have given it previously, to do it or to analyze it based on, this is an exercise being given it to you based on what I have done previously in Musharaka and Mudaraba. So you can take this tenure is 3 months, fund being given is 300, and weightages is 0.60. That is 60%. In the second one is 6 months, 4,000 naira, for instance, and weightages is 70%. We have 1 year, 3,000 and 10% or 10% as the weightages. Please, I wanted us to do this so that we can find the profit on the pool of invested asset, which the question is being, or the question is being stated like this: the profit on the pool of invested asset is 1,000 naira, and the shares of the investment account is 50-50. What will be the effective rate offered to investment account holder? Please, I wanted us to look at this critically. It's a very simple thing, very, very, very simple. But I wanted to take time and look at it in order to analyze it. And assume that the pool will have a loss of 500 naira. How this will be distributed? Thank you. I hope you find it useful. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you so much. Which I know is so